All right, Sensei James here with semester 2 of 2016. That's the months of May through August. This will be the curriculum material for our junior judo class. Throwing techniques for this semester are Hizaguruma, the knee wheel, Tomonage, the circle throw, and Ippon Seoinage, the one-arm shoulder throw. Our pinning techniques are Yoko Shiho Gatami, that is the side-locking four-corner hold, and the escape we want to work on this semester will be shrimp away guard recovery. Our next hold down or pin is Uki Gatami, the floating hold. This we will get away by using the shrimp away guard recovery again. And our last pin will be Keisa Gatami, one of our old standbys, but it's also probably the most commonly used pin in judo, so we tend to almost always include some version of it. This time it'll be just regular Keisa Gatami, the scarf hold, and we're going to be doing a leg entanglement escape this time to get away from the scarf hold. For miscellaneous mat work this semester, we're going to work on the single leg hug pass, that's versus a full guard. We're going to work on the hip bump. And for our older kids, ages 10, 11, and 12, time permitting, we'll work on a choking technique called Sode Guruma Jime, the sleeve wheel choke. So our vocabulary and general knowledge this semester will be Hiza, which means knee, Guruma, which means wheel, Tomo, which means circle, Nage, which means throw, and Seoi, which means shoulder. A couple of questions. What is Jita Kioi? And that is mutual welfare and benefit. And as always, we want the kids practicing their counting to 10 in Japanese. That's ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, and ju. So that's it for semester 2 2016 for the junior judo curriculum. Don't forget, all of the kids that are already a yellow stripe or higher will need to know this vocabulary as well as the vocabulary they tested on to get their yellow stripe, but they only need to know these techniques. Hey everybody, Sensei James Wall here along with Sensei John King, and we're here today to go over the requirements for our junior judo program for semester 2 of 2016. This is the months of May, June, July, and August. So we're going to cover all the techniques kids need to know to get ready for their next promotion. So let's just get right into the throwing techniques. Our first technique of this semester is a throw called Hizaguruma. That is the knee wheel. We're going to show this on both sides, and then I'll kind of explain it a little bit. So with Hizaguruma, the objective here is to pull our opponent forward, but to block their leg and prevent them from being able to take a step. So we'll take our judo grip, each with our right foot forward. When I'm ready to throw, I'll step at an angle with my left foot here, just in line with his right foot. Then I'm going to rotate my body, and I'm going to pull at shoulder height here to extend him out, extend him forward. And he wants to take a step, but I'm going to use my right foot to stop him. My right foot needs to go right above his knee, so he can't take that step forward, with his left leg. So I'm going to step out, pull, and then bring my leg up to block, and pull him right over. Let's see it here step by step. So I'm going to step, pull, and simultaneously bring my leg up to block his knee as I pull him over. So, Hizaguruma, the knee wheel. Next technique this semester is Tomonage, the circle throw. It's what we classify in judo as a sacrificing technique, meaning I'm going to fall down, in this case fall onto my back, in order to throw my opponent. So, the way this throw is going to work, we'll demonstrate it, and then we'll talk through it. So, for this technique, have my judo grip. My right foot is forward, his right foot is forward. I'm going to bring my right foot up, and I want to place it right across his hip. So my toes are pointing out, my heel is pointing in. That's going to be to hold him and block him, and that's what I'll use to lift him up. So from here, I may take a small step forward with my left foot, so I'm close enough. Bring my right foot up and put it right there on his hip. Now the real important thing here, what we don't want the kids to do, is we don't want them to fall backwards. If I'm here and I just fall backwards, he can just sort of move forward and my throw doesn't work. I fall and I really don't have much chance of making it work. So what I really need to do is I need to try to get my other leg to go through his legs. And I want my rear end to land as close to him as possible. And then I can propel him upward and over. So, sort of like this. Step, block. Now, this leg swings underneath him like a pendulum. I have to hold on tight and be sure I tuck my head. So I swing through, lift, and throw him right over, just like that. So this is Tomonagi, the circle throw. Our last technique this semester is a shoulder throw or hand technique. It's Ippon Seiyonagi. So, from our judo grip, we each have our right foot forward. The kids are going to recognize this, the ones that have done a drop knee shoulder throw before, Seo Toshi. The setup is the same, we just don't drop to our knees. So, my right arm and right leg move together. My left leg steps back, so I'm very, very close to my opponent. Head stays down, bend my knees, lift, and throw him across. And let's see that from here. Right arm, right left leg, bend, lift, and throw. So this is Ippon Seiyonagi, the one-arm shoulder throw. All right, those are your 3 throwing techniques for this semester. That's semester 2 of 2016. All right, guys, we're going to cover the pins and escapes for semester 2 of 2016 for our junior judo curriculum. We have 3 pins to work on and the accompanying escapes. Let's just get right into that. So our first pin is an old standby. It's going to be Keisagatami, the scarf hold. Now the kids should all be familiar with this because they have to learn it for their yellow stripe. But we tend to keep some version of Keisagatami in the curriculum every semester. We have found that Keisagatami is the most commonly used pin in judo, so the kids are going to encounter it quite a bit. And there are several different variations of it and also, of course, several different types of escapes. So this semester we're just doing or repeating the standard Keisagatami or scarf hold. So I'm going to sit in real close to his armpit. I'm going to put his arm under my arm, and I want my hand to be grabbing above his elbow. So right here around the bicep, tricep area, and I want to clamp in real tight. My right arm in this case goes behind his head and neck, and I want my legs out nice and wide for a wide base, my head down low. My arm here that's behind his neck, I could grab his gi, I could put my thumb into his collar, or I could leave this hand out and use it to stop him if he tries to bridge and roll me. So they can have the hand out or be gripping. Any of those is fine. So Keisagatami, the scarf hold, and this semester we're doing what we call a leg entanglement. Basically it means that Sensei John is going to turn on his side and get real close to me, and then he's going to reach over, hook my leg, pull it back, and trap it by locking his 2 legs together. So if he does this in a judo match, this would stop the hold down timer. It doesn't mean I have to let him go. It just means I'm no longer getting points for this pin. If I can't free my leg within about 8 to 10 seconds, then the referee would call mate and would stand us back up. Now, in addition to him getting my leg to stop the clock, this also has an added benefit. It gives him a point to help him pull. So he may be able to use that to now help him be strong enough to pull his head out of my pin and then start to attack me, start to take my back or pull me down and pin me. So it has an added benefit. It helps us to actually get our head free. We can use that leg as a rope to pull ourselves free. Let's turn around so you guys can see that leg entanglement from the other direction. So I'll be in Keisagatami, and you'll see Sensei John get on his side, grab me to hold me close, get as close to me as he can, then execute the leg entanglement. Very good. All right, so that's Keisagatami and the leg entanglement. Next is going to be what will probably be a new pinning technique for almost all of the kids. It's going to be called Uki Gatami, the floating hold. In some styles of martial arts, this is just referred to as the knee on belly, because that's basically what we do, is place our knee on their belly. So the way this would work is I would want to be on the side here controlling him, and I want one of my hands to be either controlling here behind his collar or possibly grabbing his lapel. And I want my other hand to be gripping his pants over here right around the belt. Now another acceptable variation would be for me to actually have this arm in the same type of grip I have when I'm utilizing Kesa-gatame. So I might be holding it here. The point of the left arm for me in this case is I want to be gripping and lifting and pulling his upper body in some fashion. That could be here, that could be here, or it could be here. Any of those places is fine. And I want this to be gripping the pants right here below his belt level. My lower knee is going to go up onto his belly, and then my other knee is on the ground right here by his shoulder. And from this position, I can push down with my knee, and I can lift up with both of my arms. So effectively, I take my opponent and I sort of bend him in half. So from here, I would lift up and push down here. And this executes a lot of force on our opponent's midsection and stomach, makes it hard for them to breathe, kind of pushes the wind out of their body. And it does count as a valid or legal judo pin. So we might be, for example, in Mune-gatame, a pin we worked on last semester, and maybe I move this up and grip his lapel, this down and grab his pants, and then pop up into uki-gatame just like that, okay? So our escape from this uki-gatame is for him to shrimp away, push my knee off of his belly, and recover his guard. So get his legs back toward me, either between he and I, or if possible, actually trap me in his guard. So I've got him here in this uki-gatame. He's gonna push my knee away while he shrimps, then he hips away, and boom, gets me back into his guard, okay? Important thing there is that he has to shrimp away while simultaneously getting that knee off of his belly, okay? All right, our last pinning technique this semester is Yoko Shiho-gatame, the side locking four-corner hold. I'm gonna have Sensei John just rotate sideways. So this is a lot like our chest hold from last semester for those kids who tested last semester on it. I'm gonna be here beside him, one knee under his armpit, the other knee touching his hips. I wanna be chest to chest. I'm gonna go behind his head. I can grab his shoulder of his gi, put my thumb in his collar, or I could even grip him under his armpit, whatever I prefer. My lower arm, it's important here to make this note. Some people make the mistake of putting it behind their knee and pulling the knee up. This is not the correct way to do it. He's gonna be able to blast that off because his legs are very strong. So I want my arm to actually go very, very low and under his hip. And if possible, I want to grab his belt, or I could grab the bottom of his gi, right here we'll call the skirt of the gi. If those aren't available, I could also just grab right here on the top of his pants, right below the belt. So I'll be here and here, controlling his upper body. I'll go really low, and if possible, grab the belt, pull him in tight, and to add a little extra pressure, we can arch down with our chest and lift our head up in this manner and basically pull and stretch him. So we're taking his body again like the uki-gatame before this, and we're kind of pulling to sort of bend him in half a little bit. So arm behind the head, arm low, low under the hips, grab the belt, the gi top, or the top of his pants, arch the back, and force all the wind out of his body. His escape again is to shrimp away and recover his guard. So he'll put one hand on my hip, one hand on my shoulder, and he will shrimp away, up and away, and now he can get his legs back in place and back into his guard or a neutral position, and then work for his guard sweeps. Okay. So those are our three pinning techniques for this semester, semester 2 of 2016. All right, guys, we're going to cover the miscellaneous mat work techniques for the Junior Judo curriculum for semester 2, 2016. We have a guard pass, a guard sweep, and then a choke for the older kids. Let's just get right into it. Our first technique is a guard pass. We call this the single leg hug pass. So we'll show it from here and then also from a side view or side angle. If I am in my opponent's closed guard, I'm going to need to use a separation technique that we've taught before, but we'll go over it again just in case some of the kids maybe haven't seen it. My right knee is going to move over right to the center of his body, right to the center of his tailbone. And I've got my hand here, right on his belly, right around his belt. Okay? So I bring my knee in the center, and then my other knee pops up and steps way back here at about a 90-degree angle to help open his guard. I don't want to bring this foot up close because he could grab it and he could pull it out from under me and sweep me. So when we take that step, we always step up and back, and our knee opens like a door. From that point, I can take both of my hands and I'm going to basically perform a bear hug here on his upper thigh. And I want my head to go here into his ribs and stomach. And the purpose of my head going there is so I can push into his sternum and his ribs to keep him from sitting up and climbing on top of me. So I want to hug very, very deep around his leg, and I'm going to put my head here into his side and into his stomach. Once I'm there, I'm actually going to fall down on his leg with my body weight. I'm going to kick both of my legs straight back like a sprawl. So my chest is going to be holding his leg down to the mat. So we hug, use our head to stop him sitting up, sprawl onto his leg, and now I tiptoe with my feet around. Usually at this point, our opponent will take their hand and start trying to push us away to stop us from passing their guard. When that occurs, we take our upper arm, in this case my left, I reach and grab his sleeve, and I use it like a rope. And I pull him to me as I continue moving to him. And maybe in this instance, I go right into Yoko Shihogatami, one of our pins that we're working on this semester. So let's see that with his head pointing in that direction. So we're here, wide base, good posture, short arms. My hands go here on his midsection, my right knee to the center of his tailbone, my left knee up and back. I hug, block with my head, sprawl on his leg, tiptoe, 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 grab, pull him to me. I could go into Munegatami from last semester, or again, Yoko Shihogatami that we are working on this semester. All right, so next technique is a guard sweep called the hip bump. Very common and very easy to execute. So in this case, I'm going to have my opponent here in my guard. What I need to do is trap his hand or wrist on the side I want to sweep him to, sit up and put my arm over, and I want to hug his arm and trap it. My left hand now goes to the mat. I lift my hips up a little bit and then use this hand to hug his arm to my body. And then I bump with my hips. Twist him over just like that. Okay? So let's see that again from this angle. Trap, over and hold it, up, wrap his arm, and then bump with your hips here. Then we would go right into a pinning technique. So that's our hip bump guard sweep for this semester. All right, we're going to go ahead and demonstrate or cover the choking technique we have on the requirements for this semester. This is only for the older kids, ages 10, 11, and 12. And we tend to only work on these time permitting. So in most cases, we don't end up testing the kids on these techniques. We generally don't have quite enough time to cover them in the detail that I would like to feel comfortable about testing. But I do want to go ahead and include in this video, and maybe we will have time to cover it and test on it. So our choking technique this semester for the older kids is Sode Garuma Jime, the sleeve wheel choke. So in this instance, I'm on top of my opponent. Maybe I just executed the hip bump that we saw earlier in the video. So I'm going to place my right arm behind his head or neck. I'm going to bring my left arm up. My right thumb goes into the sleeve end of my left gi sleeve. Now my left arm goes across right underneath his chin, right across the front of his neck, and I'm going to grip my own gi over here right around the bicep area. And then I will squeeze and push down with my body if necessary. So, effectively what we've done, this arm behind goes into the sleeve, and this arm in front grabs here. So we have created a box or a rectangle, and our opponent's throat and windpipe are right in the middle of that. So when we close the box, it makes it difficult for them to breathe or swallow, thereby choking them. So it's important for the kids, if they're practicing this, that if they're the one being choked, as soon as they feel the choke become strong and effective, they need to either tap the mat or tap their opponent so the opponent knows to stop. If you're the person performing the choke, you want to stop immediately as soon as your opponent taps. So one last time, behind the neck, thumb in the sleeve, arm across, grab your own sleeve, and push in and down, and we execute Sodeguruma Jime, the sleeve wheel choke. All right, that's it. Those are your miscellaneous mat work techniques for semester 2, 2016. See you guys on the mats.